Have you ever found yourself wondering, amidst the countless pieces of advice, books, and courses out there on success and self-development, what are the truly core, rock-solid principles that can guide us through all of life's ups and downs? Have you ever felt like you're putting in so much effort and working incredibly hard, yet still feeling like you're spinning your wheels and not quite achieving the genuine fulfillment and balance you desire? If the answer is yes, then today's video is definitely for you. We're going to dive deep into a book that's not just a classic, but hailed as a life-changing read for millions worldwide. A book whose influence is so profound, it's become required training material in numerous prestigious Fortune 500 companies. I'm talking about The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by the late great Stephen Covey. I know what some of you might think. Oh, another self-help book. I admit, I had that thought too. We're analyzing the mentioned. They initially hesitated, thinking it was just another run-of-the-mill success book. But trust me on this one. This book is different. It doesn't just offer surface-level tips or personality tricks. It digs deep into the very roots, our character, our core principles, and the way we see the world. It's not just a book to read. It's a framework for thinking, a map to reorient your life, building a solid foundation from the inside out. It doesn't promise overnight success, but provides consistent practice to achieve sustainable effectiveness and a meaningful life. In today's video, we'll unpack layer by layer the meaning behind these 7 habits, explore why they are so powerful, and discuss how we can apply them to our daily lives, whether you're a student, a professional, a manager, or anyone on the journey of self-improvement. So grab a notebook and a pen, and keep an open mind, because I believe you will get immense value from this. Let's dive right in. Before delving into each habit, let's spend a moment understanding the context and foundational philosophy of the book. Stephen Covey wasn't just an author. He was a significant thought leader and a respected teacher who advised numerous leaders and U.S. presidents. He observed that in modern society, we often focus too much on what he called the personality ethic. Things like communication skills, public image, a positive attitude on the surface, and techniques to make people like us. These things can be helpful, but they are secondary. Covey argued that the foundation of lasting success lies in the character ethic, universal, unchanging principles like integrity, fairness, courage, humility, and contribution. It's like trying to fix a broken relationship solely with smooth communication skills. It won't work if the underlying trust and sincerity are missing. And the key to building this character foundation, according to Covey, is achieving a paradigm shift. A paradigm is the way we see the world, our mental map. If that map is flawed, you'll still get lost, no matter how hard you try. Remember the story of people trying to navigate Chicago using a map of Detroit? No matter how positive their attitude or skills, they couldn't reach their destination. Covey suggests that many of our problems aren't due to our attitude or behavior, but because we're using the wrong map. Without this paradigm shift, we can fall into the trap of living for 10 years, but essentially just repeating the experiences of the first year. We get stuck in cycles, facing old problems with old approaches and expecting new results. Albert Einstein famously said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." Therefore, the 7 habits aren't just isolated actions. They form a system that helps us re-examine ourselves, our relationships, and the world around us. They help us adjust our map to align with the actual territory based on universal principles. This is what makes the book so profound and different. So, what should be our guide if we shouldn't rely on ever-changing things like moods, circumstances, or others' opinions? Covey provides a powerful answer. Live a principle-centered life. He compares principles to a lighthouse. A ship can stray and the weather can change, but the lighthouse stands firm, unwavering, always pointing the right way. Principles like fairness, integrity, honesty, human dignity, service, quality, excellence, potential, growth, patience, nurturance, and encouragement are similar. They are natural laws governing human effectiveness and happiness, much like gravity governs physics. You might not believe in gravity, but you'll still fall if you jump off a 10-story building. Similarly, you can ignore principles but can't escape the consequences of your relationships and results. Covey points out that many of us center our lives on other things. Spouse-centered, your sense of security and worth depends heavily on the relationship. Vulnerable to mood swings or relationship problems. Family-centered, good, but over-dependence can make you vulnerable to family traditions or pressures that violate other principles. Work, career-centered, leads to imbalance, neglecting health. Family. Self-worth becomes tied to job performance. Setbacks at work become devastating. Money possession-centered. Money is a means, not an end. Centering on it never brings true fulfillment. Self-centered. This can lead to selfishness, lack of connection, and missing the value of collaboration. Friend-enemy-centered. Your emotions and actions are dictated by others. Conversely, when you are principle-centered, you build on a solid, unchanging foundation. Internal security. You know your worth isn't dependent on external opinions or circumstances. Clear guidance. Principles help you make sound, consistent decisions aligned with your internal compass. Wisdom. You see problems objectively, with a long-term perspective, unclouded by fleeting emotions. Personal power. You act based on core values, not react based on circumstances. As Mahatma Gandhi said, happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Principle-centered living is the path to achieving that harmony. This is the root system, the foundation upon which all other growth can flourish. Before we explore the 7 habits in detail, let's clarify what Covey means by habit. He doesn't see it merely as a repeated action. He defines a habit as the intersection of 3 elements. 1. Knowledge, knowing what to do and why. For example, knowing exercise is good for health. 2. Skill, knowing how to do it. For example, knowing the correct techniques for exercises. 3. Desire, having the motivation, the want to do it. For example, truly wanting to be healthier. Only when all 3 elements converge does a behavior become an effective and sustainable habit. You should listen to others. Knowledge. Still, suppose you don't know how to listen empathetically. Skill, and don't genuinely want to understand them. Desire. In that case, you won't form an effective listening habit. Changing old habits, especially profoundly ingrained ones, is as challenging as launching a rocket. The energy consumed in the first few minutes is immense. The initial phase of starting a new habit, around the first 10 days mentioned, or perhaps 21 or 66 days according to various studies, requires significant willpower. But once you push through that initial difficulty, the habit gradually enters orbit, becomes easier, and starts yielding benefits. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. A crucial framework Covey introduces is the maturity continuum. He suggests that human development progresses through 3 stages. 1. Dependence. This is the you stage. You rely on others to meet your needs, like a child depends on parents. You blame others for your problems. The paradigm is you take care of me. 2. Independence. This is the I stage. You are self-reliant, take responsibility, and get things done independently. You think and act for yourself. This is an important goal many strive for. The paradigm is I can do it. 3. Interdependence. This is the we stage. You realize that independence alone is insufficient. Life's greatest achievements, family, work, society, require collaboration and teamwork. You combine your talents with others to achieve far more excellent results than you could alone. This is the highest level of maturity and effectiveness. The paradigm is we can do it. We can cooperate. We can combine our talents. The first 3 habits, 1, 2, 3, help us move from dependence to independence. These are private victories, mastering oneself. The next 3 habits, 4, 5, 6, help us move from independence to interdependence. These are public victories, building effective relationships and succeeding with others. The 7th habit is overarching, enabling the renewal and enhancement of all other habits. Many people who excel academically and are highly independent professionally, achieving independence, struggle to advance further because they cannot collaborate, build relationships, and work effectively in teams. Haven't reached interdependence. The leap from independence to interdependence can sometimes be more challenging than the move from dependence to independence. Habit 1. Be proactive. This is the most fundamental habit, the key that unlocks the door to all the others. Being proactive means more than just taking initiative. It carries a much deeper meaning, recognizing that between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. Reactive people are driven by feelings, circumstances, conditions, or their environment. They often use victimizing language. The weather ruined my day. My boss makes me so mad. If only I had. I have to do this. They feel controlled by external forces. Proactive people take responsibility for their own lives. They understand that while they can't always control what happens to them, they can always control their response. They use the language of responsibility. I choose, I prefer, I will find a way. Let's look at our alternatives. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, is a powerful testament to proactivity. Stripped of everything, facing death and brutality, he realized that while the Nazis could control his physical circumstances, they could not control his attitude or his inner response. He could still choose dignity, find meaning, and help others. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." As First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can hurt you without your consent." When we react negatively, we give others power over us and relinquish our power to choose. If bitten by a snake, chasing it for revenge only spreads the venom faster. If involved in a car accident, getting angry, yelling, and chasing only worsens the situation and wastes energy. The proactive approach is to focus on treating the wound and addressing the problem calmly and effectively. Another powerful tool from Habit 1 is understanding the circle of influence and the circle of concern. Circle of concern includes everything we care about: health, family, work, global economy, politics, celebrity gossip. Circle of influence lies within the circle of concern and includes things we can do something about through our efforts, our attitude, skills, knowledge, habits, how we treat others. Reactive people tend to focus their energy on the circle of concern, complaining about things they can't change: a problematic boss, company policies, the weather, others' mistakes. This is futile and shrinks their circle of influence, making them feel even more powerless. Proactive people, conversely, focus their energy on their circle of influence. They work on things they can control, improving skills, changing their attitude, building better relationships, and learning new things. By doing so, their circle of influence expands. They become more capable, more confident, and better able to solve problems. Many people online who've read about this habit share that it was a wake-up call. They realized how much time and energy they'd wasted worrying and complaining about things outside their control, instead of focusing on improving themselves and what they could do. So practicing Habit 1 means taking 100% responsibility for your life and your choices. Using proactive language. Focusing your efforts on your circle of influence. Being a creator, not a victim. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. This habit is based on the principle that all things are created twice. First, there's a mental creation, and second, a physical creation. Like building a house, you need a detailed blueprint before you start construction. Without the blueprint, first creation, the construction, second creation, will be chaotic and won't achieve the desired outcome. Beginning with the end in mind means having a clear picture of your life destination, who you genuinely want to be, what you want to achieve, and the principles you want to live by. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there, and all your efforts might be meaningless or lead you somewhere you never intended. Covey suggests a powerful visualization exercise. Imagine your own funeral. What would you want your loved ones, friends, and colleagues to say about you? How do you want to be remembered? What legacy do you want to leave behind? The answers to these questions help identify your core values and true priorities in life. From this understanding, Covey encourages us to develop a personal mission statement. This isn't a short-term goal, but a personal constitution, a compass guiding all your decisions and actions. It answers the big questions. Who are you? Your character. What do you want to do? Your contributions and achievements. What principles and values guide you? Your values. Writing a personal mission statement isn't easy. It requires deep reflection. But once you have it, you possess a solid internal compass to navigate life, especially when facing difficult choices. People dividing their life into stages, study, career, business, enjoyment, and ultimately realizing they might achieve financial success but lose their family, illustrates the consequence of focusing narrowly on one aspect, career, without a broader, principle-based end in mind. Beginning with the end in mind helps you define success on your own terms, holistically, encompassing career, family, health, relationships, and personal growth, all grounded in your chosen principles. It helps ensure the ladder of success you're climbing is leaning against the right wall. Helen Keller, an extraordinary woman who overcame blindness and deafness, once said, "The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision." Many readers share that writing their personal mission statement was one of the most meaningful exercises they did from this book, providing clarity and purpose they hadn't experienced before. So practicing Habit 2 means take time to reflect on your ultimate goals and desired legacy, writing a personal mission statement based on core principles. Use your mission statement as a guide for daily decisions. Living each day with awareness of your most important destination. Habit 3. Put first things first. If Habit 1 says you are the creator, and Habit 2 is about creating the blueprint, Habit 3 is the physical creation, the practical application of the blueprint day by day, week by week. This is where the rubber meets the road, where proactivity and purpose translate into effective action. The essence of Habit 3 is managing your life and time based on priority, not just urgency. Covey introduces the famous time management matrix, dividing activities into 4 quadrants based on important and urgent criteria. Quadrant I, important and urgent, crises, pressing problems, deadline-driven projects. Example, project due now, sick child, house on fire. We are forced to deal with these, but spending too much time here leads to burnout and constant firefighting. Quadrant 2, important and not urgent. This is the heart of effectiveness. Includes prevention, capability building, relationship building, long-term planning, seeking new opportunities, and personal renewal. Learning, exercise, rest. These activities are often not pressing, don't demand immediate attention, and are easy to postpone, but they make the biggest difference in the long run. Quadrant 3, not important and urgent. Unnecessary meetings, interruptions, calls, emails, and others. Immediate requests that don't serve your goals. Many people confuse this with Quadrant 1 due to its urgency, but these activities don't contribute to long-term goals. We should learn to decline or delegate these. Quadrant 4, not important and not urgent. Time-wasting activities, aimless web surfing, excessive TV watching, gossip. We need to minimize the time spent here. Highly effective people focus on Quadrant 2. They proactively schedule time for important but not urgent activities rather than waiting for them to become crises. Quadrant 1. By investing in Quadrant 2, planning, prevention, relationship building, self-development, they reduce the time spent in Quadrant 1. If you put sand and gravel, small trivial tasks, Quadrants 3, 4, into the jar first, you won't have room for the big rocks, important tasks, Quadrant 2. But if you put the big rocks in first, the gravel and sand will fill the spaces around them, and everything fits. The lesson: prioritize the big rocks in your life first. To do this, Covey recommends weekly planning based on your roles and goals, connecting back to Habit 2. Instead of just making a daily to-do list reactively, look at the week ahead. Identify your key roles. Example, spouse, parent, manager, team member, individual. And set 1 to 2 important goals, big rocks, Quadrant 2 activities, for each role. Then, schedule specific time slots to work on those goals during the week. This helps ensure you're dedicating time to what matters, not just getting caught up in urgent trivialities. Practicing Habit 3 also requires the courage to say no to unimportant things, even if they seem urgent or are requested by others. As Peter Drucker, the management guru, said, "Efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things." Countless readers have shared that the time management matrix completely changed how they view and use their time. They learn to focus on high-value activities and feel more in control of their lives. So, practicing Habit 3 means identifying your big rocks, most important priorities, focusing on Quadrant 2 activities, important, not urgent, planning your week based on roles and goals, learning to say no to unimportant things, managing yourself, not just managing time, transitioning to public victory. The first 3 habits help us build a strong personal foundation, achieve private victory, and become independent. However, to achieve more tremendous success and live a fulfilling life, we must move towards public victory, building effective relationships, collaborating successfully with others, and reaching interdependence. The foundation of public victory is trust. Covey uses the powerful metaphor of the emotional bank account. Like a financial bank account, we must make deposits into relationships through positive actions to build trust. If we only make withdrawals through negative behaviors, the emotional bank account becomes depleted and the relationship breaks down. Deposits into the emotional bank account. Understanding the individual. making a genuine effort to understand the other person's perspective and feelings. Related to habit 5, attending to the little things. Kindness, courtesy, thoughtful gestures in daily interactions. Keeping commitments. This is a huge deposit. Breaking promises is a massive withdrawal. Clarifying expectations. Discussing and agreeing on mutual expectations up front. Showing personal integrity. Being true to your values, walking your talk. Apologizing sincerely when you make a withdrawal. Having the courage to take responsibility and express regret when you've hurt the relationship. Withdrawals from the emotional bank account. Disrespect, not listening. Criticizing, judging, blaming. Breaking promises, being unreliable. Arrogance, acting superior. Unclear expectations cause misunderstandings. Suppose parents constantly nag, criticize, and don't listen. Repeated withdrawals by the time the child reaches adolescence. In that case, the emotional bank account is empty, and the child no longer wants to share or connect. Building a high-trust emotional bank account is essential for effectively practicing the next 3 habits. Habit 4. Think win-win. This habit is about attitude and philosophy in human interaction. Thinking win-win isn't a technique, it's a total philosophy of human interaction. It stems from the belief that there is plenty for everybody, and one person's success doesn't have to come at the expense of another's failure. This is called the abundance mentality, contrasted with the scarcity mentality, which sees life as a finite pie, believing that if someone gets a bigger piece, there's less for you. Covey describes 6 paradigms of human interaction. 1. Win-win. Seeking solutions that are mutually beneficial and satisfying for all parties. Everyone feels good about the decision and is committed to the action plan. This is the only sustainable paradigm in the long run. 2. Win-lose. I win, you lose. This is the competitive, authoritarian approach, effective only in truly competitive situations, like sports, but destructive in cooperative relationships. 3. Lose-win. I lose, you win. This is the doormat mentality, appeasing, yielding, lacking the courage to express feelings and stand up for one's own needs, often leads to buried resentment. 4. Lose-lose. Both parties lose, often the result of a clash between 2 win-lose individuals. They become so focused on making the other person lose that both end up worse. 5. Win. Focusing solely on getting what you want, regardless of what happens to the other person. Selfish and short-sighted. 6. Win-win or no deal. If a mutually beneficial solution can't be found, agreeably disagree to not make a deal. This is better than forcing an agreement where one or both parties are unhappy. It requires maturity and confidence. Thinking win-win requires a balance between courage, the strength to express your own feelings and convictions, and consideration, the respect and empathy to understand the other person's perspective and needs. High courage, low consideration. Win-lose. Low courage, high consideration. Lose-win. Low courage, low consideration. Lose-lose. High courage, high consideration. Win-win. Achieving win-win solutions requires a high emotional bank account for trust and effective communication skills, especially habit 5. Many business people share that adopting a win-win mindset has helped them build stronger, more successful partnerships than their old competitive approaches. They realized cooperation yields far more significant benefits than confrontation. So practicing habit 4 means cultivating an abundance mentality, balancing courage and consideration, seeking mutual benefit in all interactions, building relationships based on trust and mutual respect, being willing to walk away, no deal, If win-win isn't possible. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is one of the most challenging habits to practice. Yet, it's the golden key to unlocking communication and building deep relationships. Most of us, when communicating, don't listen with the intent to understand. We listen with the intent to reply. We're too busy preparing our responses in our heads, evaluating, judging, or projecting our own experiences onto the other person. Covey outlines levels of listening: ignoring, not really listening at all; pretending, yeah, right, but the mind is elsewhere; selective listening, hearing only parts of the conversation that interest us; attentive listening, pay attention and focus energy on the words being said, but still not fully understanding; empathic listening, the highest level, listening with the ears, eyes, and heart, listening to truly understand the other person's frame of reference, feelings, and the meaning behind their words. This is the core of Habit 5. Empathic listening is entirely different from merely mimicking words. It requires you to 1. Rephrase content. State the other person's point in your own words to confirm understanding. 2. Reflect feeling. Identify and articulate the emotions the speaker is conveying through their tone and body language. The father doesn't jump to judgment. What do you know? Give advice. Knowledge is useful. Probe. Why are you bored? But reflects back on what he hears and senses from his son. Son, school is so boring, Dad. Dad, oh, so you're feeling disappointed with school? Reflecting feeling. Son, the stuff we learn is useless. You feel like what you're learning isn't helpful. Reflecting content. Son, my friend A quit school to fix cars and make money. Dad, you see that as a smart move. Reflecting content perspective. By listening empathetically, the father created a safe space, psychological air, for his son to vent fully and delve deeper into the real issue behind the surface frustration, anxiety over a poor test grade. Only when the son felt truly understood was he open to hearing his father's perspective. We often fall into 4 autobiographical responses when listening to others' problems instead of listening empathically. Imagination, agreeing or disagreeing. That's right. That's wrong. You shouldn't. Probing, asking questions from our own frame of reference. Why did that happen? Who said that? Advising, giving solutions based on our experience. You should do this. Interpreting, analyzing the person's motives or behavior based on our assumptions. You're probably just. These responses often come from good intentions, but they block genuine understanding. They can make the speaker feel judged or unheard. Only after you have genuinely sought to understand the other person and invested the time to listen with your whole being do you earn the right and the ability to be understood yourself. This requires immense patience and discipline. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. So, practicing Habit 5 means make understanding others your priority before seeking to be understood. Practicing empathic listening, focus, rephrase content, reflect feeling. When others share, avoid autobiographical responses. Evaluating, probing, advising, interpreting. Creating a safe space for others to open up. Habit 6. Synergize. This is the pinnacle achievement resulting from applying all the previous habits, especially Habit 4, think win-win, and Habit 5, seek first to understand. Synergy means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. 1 + 1 = 3 or more. It's creative cooperation where new insights and better solutions emerge that no individual could have conceived alone. The essence of synergy is valuing differences. Instead of seeing differences in perspectives, experiences, or backgrounds as threats or obstacles, those practicing this habit view them as opportunities for learning and creation. They recognize that diversity brings fresh viewpoints and the potential for breakthrough solutions. Imagine a team meeting. Typical approach, lacking synergy. People defend their ideas, try to persuade others, or reach a compromise where each side gives up something, often resulting in a weaker solution. 1 + 1 = 1.5. Synergistic approach. People apply habit 4, wanting a win-win outcome, and habit 5, listening empathetically to understand each other's views. They are open to different ideas, explore new options, and build upon each other's contributions. The result is often a third alternative, a creative solution far better than any individual could have devised alone. 1 + 1 = 3 or more. Plants, animals, and microorganisms interact within an ecosystem, creating a vibrant and sustainable whole far greater than the individual parts. Achieving synergy requires high levels of trust, a healthy emotional bank account, a win-win mindset, empathic listening skills, openness, and a spirit of creative collaboration. When you encounter someone with an opposing view, instead of becoming defensive or attacking, apply the synergistic mindset. You see things differently. I need to understand your perspective. This is the first step toward opening the door to creative cooperation. So, practicing habit 6 means valuing differences in others as opportunities for learning and creativity, seeking the third alternative instead of just compromising, applying habits 4 and 5 in teamwork, creating an environment where people feel safe to share ideas and disagree constructively. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. This is the overarching habit of self-renewal, preserving and enhancing your greatest asset, you. It ensures you have the energy and capacity to practice all 6 other habits effectively. It's based on the fable of the woodcutter trying to see down a tree. He saws furiously, getting exhausted, with diminishing results. He dismisses the saw when advised to stop and sharpen it. I don't have time. I'm too busy sawing. Habit 7 reminds us that for sustainable effectiveness, we must take time to renew ourselves in a balanced way across the 4 fundamental dimensions of life. 1. Physical. Caring for your body through healthy eating, regular exercise, and adequate rest, sleep. This is the foundation of physical energy. 2. Mental. Keeping your mind sharp through reading, learning new things, writing, planning, and creative problem solving. 3. Social, emotional. Nurturing meaningful relationships by practicing habits 4, 5, and 6. Spending quality time with loved ones, contributing to the community, and practicing empathy and cooperation. 4. Spiritual. Connecting with your core values, clarifying your purpose related to habit 2 through meditation, prayer, reading inspirational literature, spending time in nature, and listening to uplifting music. Spiritual here isn't necessarily religious. It's about connecting with your deepest self, your internal compass. These 4 dimensions are interconnected. Neglecting one affects the others. For instance, neglecting physical health saps mental energy and makes you more irritable in relationships. Sharpening the saw isn't a waste of time. It's an essential investment in long-term productivity and well-being. It needs to be done consistently and in balance. Covey describes this process as an upward spiral. Learn, commit, do. Each time you complete this cycle with a habit, you move to a higher level of understanding and practice, continually renewing and growing. Abraham Lincoln famously said, "Give me 6 hours to chalk down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. So, practicing habit 7 means regularly dedicating time each day or week to renew yourself in all 4 dimensions: physical, mental, and physical, social, emotional, and spiritual. Viewing self-renewal as a crucial investment, not an optional extra if I have time. Continuously learning, committing, and doing to grow along the upward spiral. So there we have it, our journey through the 7 habits of highly effective people. From building a solid personal foundation with proactivity, habit 1, beginning with the end in mind, habit 2, and putting first things first, habit 3, we progressed to building effective relationships and achieving synergistic cooperation through thinking win-win, habit 4, seeking first to understand, habit 5, and synergizing, habit 6. Finally, habit 7 reminds us of the importance of continuous self-renewal to sustain and enhance our effectiveness throughout the journey. As you can see, these 7 habits aren't isolated concepts. They form an integrated, interdependent system. They provide a powerful framework for growing from the inside out, moving from self-mastery to effective collaboration, all built upon a foundation of universal principles. This isn't a book you read once and put away. Many people attest that it's a book they revisit multiple times throughout their lives, each time discovering new layers of meaning and fresh applications for their current circumstances. It truly is a lifelong companion on the path of personal development. It doesn't promise an easy path, as shifting paradigms and building new habits require effort and perseverance, but it does promise a path towards effectiveness, balance, and a more meaningful life. Success in the truest sense, built on character and principle. I sincerely hope these insights have given you a deeper understanding of the 7 habits of highly effective people and inspired you to apply these incredible principles in your life. If you haven't read the book yet, I wholeheartedly encourage you to pick up a copy. It's an invaluable investment in yourself. Which of the 7 habits resonated most strongly with you? Or perhaps you're already practicing some of these habits. How have they changed things for you? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories, and we can all learn from each other. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button to show your support. Share this video with friends, family, or anyone you think might benefit from this knowledge. Most importantly, if you enjoy content about personal development through books like this and haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right now so you don't miss any future videos from BookSmart Insights. Your support is my biggest motivation for creating more quality content. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me today. Wishing you a truly effective and energized day or week ahead as you sharpen your saws and practice these excellent habits. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.